Hey, how you doing? My name's Samuel Leeds. Thank you so much for tuning into this property investment channel. Today, I'm going to be answering a load of questions that come up on the YouTube channel, so I hope you find these really interesting. And the first question that came up, which is by a guy called Mr. Salim, he said, do you think there'll be a time when there are too many people investing in property and it's just not worth it? Or do you think there'll be always enough for everyone to invest in? Great question. So, what do I think about that? I don't think there'll ever be a time when property investing will not be lucrative. I think there'll be a time when you have to maybe change strategies. So rent to rent might work really well when there's lots of landlords with properties that are tired and struggling, and you think, I can give them a guaranteed rent and put tenants in. It's great. If there's lots of single lets, and single lets are oversaturated and everyone's buying single lets, then you could come in and you could buy a HMO. Everything in life and in business is all about supply and demand. So it's about saying, what's the demand, what's the supply? Now the bottom line is that this planet isn't getting any bigger, and there's an overpopulation of people and there's a shortage of houses, and that's going to always be the case, particularly in England. Like in the UK, we're a very small island, so the fact that there is people literally fighting to come into this country, and we've got a massive housing crisis. Owning houses is only going to be a good thing. Is everybody wanting to do that? No, they're not. In fact, there's more people now renting and just because the thing is, on my YouTube channel, okay, I'm teaching be financially free, create your own economy, be a property investor. Like, that's what I'm teaching and helping people do. But the thing is, the government and the mass of education and the media aren't teaching that message. They're teaching work hard, get a good job, have security, don't go into debt. Like, they're teaching this, and this is what's mainstream. So will there ever be a time when my financial freedom message gets to a point where everyone's financially free? And is that even possible? Well, I hope it does happen, and I think that it is possible because the way my mind is wired is I don't see it as there's only so much money in the world, and when someone comes along and gets money, then they're taking it away from the rest. That's a communistic viewpoint. Whereas I'm a capitalist, which says that when you take money, you exchange it with value, and that value is going to be able to mean someone else can. So I don't think competitively. I think collaboratively. Now, sure, within the property industry and any business, strategies, techniques do get oversaturated, but when one strategy becomes oversaturated, that creates a problem, and then it will. As an entrepreneur, you'll be able to find a solution for that problem and make money doing something slightly else. So you can always tweak it and always make money. So I am very, very people say to me, do you think you're just training up your competition? Absolutely not. In fact, I've made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, maybe even millions, off the back of joint venture agreements and doing business with my success students. So I teach people to do property, and then they become financially free, but then they make me money because we work together on stuff. Like, that's how I see it. So I hope that answers that question, but it was a great question. I've also got SM3 says, hi Samuel, if you wanted to do BRR, which is buy, refurbish, refinance, on a single let, what kind of mortgage would you use in the initial purchase? 2-year, 5-year fixed, or another? Okay. If you're wanting to do buy, refurbish, refinance, the whole point of the strategy is that you buy a house, you then refurbish it to add value to the house, and then you refinance it. You get a new mortgage on the property, and you pull out most or all of the initial money that you put in. So it's a way of recycling your cash from a property purchase. And if you do this right, you can just buy an unlimited amount of houses for free. The only thing is, normally you don't manage to pull out all your money, you just pull most of it out. But if you're doing this, no, you should not use a 2 or a 5-year fixed mortgage. You should either use cash, so your own cash, because if you buy a property and you buy it with a mortgage, so if you buy a house and you put down a 75% buy-to-let mortgage and then you refurbish it, you can't then remortgage it, because if you're fixed in a normal buy-to-let mortgage, you can't refinance it. So you're leaving your money in the deal. So if you buy it cash, you put down your own hard-earned cash and then refurb it, then you can get a mortgage on it and you can pull your money out. So buying it cash is the way to do it. Now, if you haven't got the cash, what do? Either use someone else's cash, or what most of my students do is they just use a bridging loan. So a bridging loan is like a short-term loan. So when you borrow, it's the same as a mortgage, but you borrow the money for it. You pay more interest, but you do it over a deliberate short term. So typically a bridging loan, you'll borrow money for between 4 and 12 months. So you might buy the house for £100,000 and you might put down a little bit of your own money, but the majority of that £100,000 is on a short-term bridging loan. Then the refurb, you can get 100% finance on refurb development. So you'll then get another bridging loan, or you use the same loan but with an extended amount. Sometimes bridging companies will give you a loan and they'll give it you almost in installments as and when you need it, for a refurb, for instance. Then when you've bought it and you've added the value and you've done that with a bridging loan, you'll be paying around about, they're expensive, 1% a month on a bridging loan. That's why you don't want a bridging loan for years. But for 6 months, enough time to buy it, do the work up. It might only be 3 months. Then you get a new mortgage at a higher value, the maximum value, which will be a buy-to-let standard mortgage. This will be more like 3 or 4% interest, and then all the mortgage that they give you, you'll use the mortgage to pay off the bridging finance company. So that's how you financially structure a buy, refurbish, refinance deal. I hope that makes sense. If it hasn't and you've got more questions on that, just comment below. Okay, so Gstar1862. Hi Samuel, love your videos. Using your advice from YouTube vids, I'm finding a load of properties which have in the description sitting tenant. Yep, or sometimes it will say tenant in situ, but that's cool. Whilst this could be a good thing, what rights do they have, and can this give you problems down the line? Okay, good question. I think I might have answered this before in one of the earlier videos. Sitting tenants are not a bad thing if you want tenants like that. So if you're buying a house for £60,000 and there's tenants inside paying $550 and they're good tenants, there's no point buying the house and then kicking them out. Not kicking them out, but buying the house and telling your solicitor that you want to buy empty, so forcing them out of the property, just to then remarket the property and say, we're looking for tenants to pay $550. Like, there's no point. You'd be better off to buy the house and leave the tenants in there, and then day one of completion, you're getting rent from a nice, good tenant. Now, if you do that, you just need to make sure that the tenants are good tenants. You need to make sure that they're on a proper AST contract, so that when you buy it, the solicitor knows and the management company knows that you're buying it and the contract is correct. But if they're good tenants and you just want normal tenants like that, then it's a good thing. It's a bad thing if the tenants are bad, or not if they're bad, but if you're buying the house and you want to turn it into a HMO, then you want to make sure that you buy the house with no tenants. But if you're just buying it to rent it out and there's already good tenants renting it, yeah, it's a good thing. So hope that answers your question, buddy. Okay, Victor Fevrier says, Samuel, I'm 15 years old. Wow, I can't believe that we have 15-year-olds watching this channel. It's just incredible. Just finished secondary school, been watching your videos some time now. How long? Since you were like 11? Some time now. Reading books around wealth. Good for you, man. I've got no money, living with parents, the ordinary 15-year-old. Hold on. There's nothing ordinary about you. If you're 15 and you're watching all of my videos and you're reading wealth books, don't say you're ordinary, because you really are not ordinary at all. I have no interest in a 9-to-5 job. Good. What are all the tips, not some, geez, wow, you would give to this person? What would you do and how would you begin? I've really enjoyed your videos. The energy is different than others. Thanks so much, Victor. Listen, my tip for you, buddy, is you just need to become valuable. So you're 15 years old. You've got a long life ahead of you, which is awesome. I would focus on being really valuable. So what do I mean by that? when you're smart, if you understand property, if you understand the business, if you know how to find a deal and what investment areas are good and how to work out the return on investment, and you get to know the management companies in the area, which you can do at 15. Do you know why? Because the market doesn't discriminate. The market doesn't discriminate. The marketplace only cares about what value you can bring. So you can do, there's no excuses. So if you continue learning about property and getting yourself in there and you should just say, I, Victor, want to become as valuable as possible to the property investment marketplace. And that could even be working for people for free, finding tenants and renting out people's rooms for free. Like, just become valuable to the people in this marketplace, in this industry. Ask them what they want. Find a estate agent in your local area or an investor in your local area or a building company and say, how could I bring value to you guys? You know, can I help? Can I offer my services for free? And become like a sponge. And when you do that and you become valuable, imagine if you go and get a job for an estate agent and you work for them for free, or if you're working for investors, finding deals for them and helping them work out the return on investment and filling their property, filling their rooms, like, and you're doing that for free, just to add value. And then after a year, you say, you know what? I don't want to do it for free anymore. If you want me to do the service, you can now pay me this much because I think that's how much value it's worth. Do you think they'll pay it? Of course they will, because you've become valuable. So that would be my big thing. I'd focus on just becoming really valuable. And the money always follows the value. Albert Einstein says, don't try and be successful, try and be valuable. And then the money it has to follow. It can't not follow. So rather than giving you all the tips I have about property investing on the planet, just become valuable. Hope that helps. Okay, Matthew Fayesa. Loving the series, Samuel. Been subscribed for around half a year now. Was wondering your opinion on the lifetime ISA and whether it was a good option for savings. I'm a student and wish to operate real estate as a form of passive income in a few years. However, don't want to tie all my money down in a lifetime ISA since that can only be used for property you intend to live in. Any thoughts? Yep, don't do it. I would not put my money into something like an ISA where it's locked away, because if your money is locked away, it's just shrinking, and your money in the bank is completely useless if it's just stored. Unless it's invested, that's when it becomes useful. So I would just put every single penny that I have into myself and into my investment business. So I'd be educating myself. I don't believe in saving up money. I believe in just investing in property, and then that way the money that you make in passive income, you can do what you want with that. You can spend that, you can live the life you want on that. But saving money is just an old mindset, and ISAs are terrible. So that's just my opinion. Okay, what we got next? Deepan says, I have a burning question. Please give me some advice if you want. If I were to buy a property cash, how much discount would I be able to get? Are there any sort of standard? And how would you approach the agent? Would you tell them straight away before viewing, or would you bring it up later in the negotiation? Thanks a lot for your time. Okay, so there's no right or wrong answer for this. There's no, if you're a cash buyer, you always get 10%. You can get no money, you can get no discount, or you can get a 50% discount. It just depends on the seller. So if the seller is really motivated and they need the money now, and they want to sell fast, and you come along as a cash buyer and you say, look, here's my money in my bank, I'm just going to be buying this place cash. Like, of course, that's attractive to the seller. So you're likely to be in a position where you can negotiate and you can get a bargain property for sure. But in this case, I would just, I'll be upfront with the agent. I would ring the agent and I would give them your proof of deposit. I would say, hey, hi, my name's Samuel Leeds and I'm looking to buy properties outright for cash, but I'm looking to work with motivated sellers that want to get a fast sale so that I can get a little bit of a bargain. Do you have anything on the market or anything on your books at the moment? And if they get it, if they're like, oh, okay, that's interesting, you know, you're a useful person to our network, because sometimes we do get properties or sellers like that, then I would say, listen, you know, would it help if I can send you an email with my ID and my proof of funds, And then you can keep me posted if you get any. I would definitely tell them up front, because if you just go and view loads of houses and then put forward lots of offers and go, I'm a cash buyer, I would put in that instance, I would put all your cards on the table up front for sure. And it's just gonna save you time doing that, and it's also gonna save the agent time, and for sure. But here's another thing: I wouldn't be a cash buyer unless you're planning on buying for cash to then add value and refinance. You don't want to be buying cash and just leaving big, massive lump sums in properties, because your return is going to be so bad. You always want to leverage, but nothing wrong with buying cash as long as you don't leave the cash in the house. All right, last question. This is from Steve Mitch. Hi Samuel, my question is about securing deals as a property sourcer through an estate agent. Say you've seen the property on Rightmove and phoned the agent. Do you be upfront and tell them you're a sourcer with potentially interested investors, but won't be buying the property yourself? No, I wouldn't. Because if you're an agent and you say, hey, I'm a sourcer and I've potentially got some interested investors, they are not going to take you seriously at all. And most estate agents don't deal with people like that. There might be some that do, but on the whole they don't. And the reason they don't is because there's so many investors or deal sources that haven't got investors, and they're time wasters. There's people that go to estate agents and they're putting cheeky offers, 20% below market value on everything, and then the estate agent will say, oh, this person's just said yes, and then use the deal sourcer like, yes, but you haven't got the money, and you haven't got anyone that will buy the deal. And then what happens is you have to just waste the estate agent's time, spend a few days trying to sell this deal, and then you can't, and then you have to just say to the estate agent, I'm really sorry, I can't. And then if you've wasted people's time, you've got people's hopes up, you're messing with people's money. This is what bad deal sources do. And because of that, estate agents have almost bad deal sources have given a bad reputation to all deal sources, so that estate agents don't want to work with deal sources anymore, which sucks. So I'll tell you what I normally do, but please only use this if you have been trained properly and you know what you're doing. Like if you've come on my programs and you're a compliant deal sourcer, you know the steps and everything, then use this strategy that I'm about to teach you. But if you haven't been on any of my training, I'll tell you this anyway, but please don't use this because you're going to end up just doing more damage. So what I do is I put the offer forward as if it's me. So I'll say, hey, I'll offer 80,000. And then when they accept, or if they accept, yeah, they've accepted, please, the first thing they're going to want is they're going to want to see my ID and my proof of funds and my solicitor details. So the estate agent says, hey, good news. And the estate agent doesn't really know me. I'm just someone that just booked a viewing on a house. I've had to give them my name and stuff, so they know my name, but they haven't got a relationship with me at this point. So they'll ring me up. Hey, congratulations, they accepted £80,000. Please, can you send us your proof of funds, mortgage details, solicitor details, photo ID? I'll say, yeah, no problem. I'll get that over to you tomorrow. Then I will sell the property. But when I sell a property and when my students sell properties, they sell them like that. I mean, some of my students, they'll send an email and they'll have the money in their bank for the property within 15 minutes. It's that fast. They'll have someone respond on email saying, I want to secure that house, I'm ready to pay your fee within 30 seconds. It's that powerful when you have an investor list who are ready. So you send that email out. Then let's say Joe Bloggs wants to buy the house. I'll say to Joe Bloggs, I'm going to need your photo ID, mortgage in principle, proof of funds, etc., etc. He'll send that to me. I will then send an email to the estate agent and say, hi, Sarah from Dixon's Estate Agents. And then I'll just say, the property is not going to be going in my name. It's going to be going in the name of Joe Bloggs. Please see attached his blah, 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 blah. Bum, 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 bum. And this is his contact number. Now at this point, the estate agent might realise, is this person a sourcer? Or they might just think that Joe Bloggs is your business partner. Like, or your husband, or like anything. Like, they don't know who Joe is. But what they do know about Joe is they know that they've got Joe's proof of funds, they've got his mortgage in principle, they've got his solicitor details, and they know that he's wanting to buy the house for 80, which has been agreed. It's all happened fast. So at this point, the estate agent isn't going to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hold on. They don't care, because they know that, well, they're going to make this sale because they've got all the proof of funds. They've got the deal agreed. They're going to make their money, so they're okay. At that point, once the property goes through and completes, I'll then ring the agent again if I see another good property, and I'll say, hey, I've seen this property which is also good. You've worked with me before. It was Joe Blogs ended up buying this property, and then they'll probably be thinking, oh, you're a sourcer. But you're a sourcer who's made them money. You're a sourcer who isn't going to mess them around. Now, the reason I said don't use this unless you've actually been through my training is because this could backfire. Not backfire, but if you try and use this strategy but you haven't got the training, one of the first things that we teach you when we teach you how to sell deals on our advanced training is we teach you how to get a list of hot investors ready to buy from you and how to prime them. So when you're looking at properties, you know exactly what they want to buy. Also, when you put offers forward, you're going to put part of the puzzle is you're going to put forward an if would offer. So before you agree to buy it for 80,000, you're going to say, you know, if I was to say 80, what do you think they'd say? And then they're going to say to you, you know what? They'd accept 80. So you haven't formally put forward an offer yet. Then I'm going to prime these guys, my investors. I'm going to be like, hey guys, I've got this property. I think I'll be able to wrap it up at 80,000. What are you thinking? If the response is good, and they're like, yeah, and there's a few people that are interested, then I'll put forward my formal offer of 80. They'll accept. Bang, I'll sell it within 15 seconds. So it's really important they have the order right. Now listen, if you are a binge watcher of my YouTube videos and you haven't been down to any of my training programs, just do it, because what happens on my training programs is very different to what you see on YouTube, because we actually do stuff. Like on YouTube, I can't say to you, right, make this call, you know, find this deal. How did it go? I can't interact with you in that way. So on YouTube, I'll put as much as I can out for free, but really, you've got to come on some of the training. Now the good news is I do run some training for free. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in this video, property-investors.co.uk, where hopefully, fingers crossed, there'll be a link. On that link, you'll be able to book on for a 2-day training program with me personally. And if you click on the link and you can see that there's a training available with me, just book it, because it's rare that happens, because normally it's like sold out or whatever. So that's my advice. I hope that was really helpful, guys. I absolutely love doing this. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, or if you're subscribed but you haven't got the notification bell ticked, do that as well, because the more subscribers that I have means the more views that I get, which inspires me and encourages me to do more content. So, you know, the more views that I get, the better the content will be, the better the guests will be. You know, I've had Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, Martin Roberts from Homes Under the Hammer BBC. Like, I've had some really cool guests in, and the reason that I'm able to get these people on the show is because I say to them, you know, hey, Robert Kiyosaki, I've got like 90,000 subscribers. I've got a really awesome engaged audience. Do you want to come on the show? And he'll agree to it because of you. So because of you guys, it enables me to get to meet and know some really cool people. So I really appreciate you guys subscribing and watching, and I appreciate your questions, your support. Hope to see you at a training program real soon. And until next time, see you then.